Welcome to test number 2, section 3. This is no calculator part. Question number 1. If 5x plus 6 equals to 10, what's the value of 10x plus 3? So we have two methods here. Method 1, we're going to solve for x and plug in the second equation. Let's do that. So 5x plus 6 equals to 10. Our first step is to subtract 6 on both sides. And then we're going to obtain 5x equals to 4. And we're going to divide both sides on 5. And then the value of x will be 4 over 5. Now we're going to plug in this value into the second equation. So it's going to be 10 times 4 over 5 plus 3. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. This is the answer. The second method you could go will be this. We're going to make left equation look like the second equation. We have 5x plus 6 equals to 10 given. Our goal is to make it look like 10x plus 3. So what makes 5x 10x times 2? So this 2 is distributed into whole terms. 2 times 5x is 10x, 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 10 is 20. Now we need to make this 12 3. What makes it 3? If I subtract 9 on both sides, I obtain here 3. So 10x plus 3 is equal to 20 minus 9, which is 11. So this confirms our answer. Question number 2. X plus y equals to 0. 3x minus 2y equals to 10. Which of the following ordered pairs xy satisfies the systems of equations above? So let's check one by one by plugging in method. We were given that x plus y equals to 0. So the first coordinate is x coordinate, second coordinate is the y coordinate. If we add them up, we should obtain 0 according to first equation. 3 plus negative 2 is not 0, so this cannot be the answer. 2 plus negative 2 is 0, so this is one of the possible answers. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so this is one of the possible answers. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4, which is not 0, so they are not equal to 0, so they cannot be the answer because they don't already satisfy the first equation. Let's check if one of the options satisfy the second equation. We have 3 times x minus 2 times y equals to 10. The x coordinate is 2 according to this option, and y coordinate is negative 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And yes, 10 equals to 10, so this is our answer choice. You don't even need to try C. This is one method that you can plug in the options to see whether it is satisfying both equations, or you can go ahead and do elimination or substitution method and solve the system. Question number 3. A landscaping company estimates the price of a job in dollars using the expression 60 plus 12 NH, where N is the number of landscapers who will be working and H is the total number of hours the job will take using N landscapers. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 12 in the expression? This is a linear equation like y equals to mx plus b. In our case, it is 60 plus 12 NH, where N is the number of landscapers and H is the number of the hours each landscapers are working. So we have two variables and 12 is the slope for both. Let's see which scenario describes this. The company charges $12 per hour, which is our H is here, for each landscaper, and our N is here as well. So this is 12 nh here. This is already answered, but let's see the others. A minimum of 12 landscapers will work on each job. This is just 12n. The price of every job increases by $12 every hour. So this is just 12h. Each landscapers work 12 hours a day. This is not even the variable we have. This is 12d. Like per day, 12 hours. So the answer is A. Question number 4. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression shown above? So this is our famous binomial squares. If you realize the binomial square a plus b, the quantity squared, which is equal to a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared, or a minus b, the quantity squared, is equal to a squared minus 2 times ab plus b squared. So this is the binomial squares. Either left side is given and you're going to make up the right side, or right side is given, you're going to make up the left side. So here in our case the right side is given, so we're going to obtain the left hand side. So we're going to take the square root of the first term, and we're going to take the square root of the last term. This is going to be our a term, this is going to be our b term, and this is going to be squared. This is our template. So square root of 9a to the 4th is 3a squared, and square root of, let me show you the square root sign, will be 2b squared. This is to the 4th. And this is the answer. And let's confirm whether it is binomial square. So the middle term will be 2 times a times b. So a times b is 6a squared b squared, and doubled it, 12a squared b squared. That's correct. So this is our binomial squares. So the answer is this. And if you have negative sign here, then it's going to be a minus b, the quantity squared. So you should be familiar with binomial squares, which I gave the formulas here, 2 formulas. Question number 5. If k is greater than 0 and x value is 7 in the equation above, what's the value of k? So we were given x value, we can directly plug in. I'm going to solve algebraically, but you can plug in k value one by one and then see whether it is satisfying the equation. That's the easy way, but I would like to teach also the algebraic way. So 2 times k squared plus 17 minus, instead of x we can directly write 7 because it's given, equals to 0. So we're going to solve for k. Our first step is to add 7 on both sides. Then we're going to obtain radical 2k squared plus 17 is equal to 7. Our next step is to square on both sides. And we're going to obtain 49 on the right hand side. And radical cancels the square sign, so this is 2k squared plus 17. Our next step is to subtract 17 on both sides. And then we're going to obtain 2k squared is equal to 49 minus 17 is 32. Now our next step is to divide by 2, and then k squared is equal to 16. And then we need to again square root both sides. Then k will be equal to plus or minus 4. We don't have negative 4 in the options, so this is the answer. Or you can plug in each values one by one, and you're gonna see that at this option, this is going to be satisfying the equation. Question number 6. In the xy plane above, line L is parallel to line K. So line L is parallel to line K. What's the value of P? If two lines are parallel, then they have the same slopes. So the slope of line L is equal to slope of line K. If I can obtain one of the slopes and make it equal to the other one, I can solve for the variable here. How can I find the slope of line L? We're going to apply delta y over delta x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's call this x1, then this is y1. Let's call this x2, then this is y2. So y2 minus y1 is 2 minus 0. x2 minus x1, 0 minus minus 5. So this is 2 over 5. This is the slope of line L. Now I'm going to make this equal to slope of line K. Again, I will apply slope formula, which is delta y over delta x. x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2, which is p, minus x1 equals to slope of the other line, which is 2/5. We already found it. Now we're going to solve for p in this equation. So this is going to be 4, negative 4 is 4, over p is equal to 2/5. We're going to do cross multiplication. 4 times 5 is 20, is equal to 2 times p is 2p. Then here p will be 10 if we divide both sides by 2. So D is the answer. Question number 7. If x to the a to the second power over x to the b to the second power equals to x to the 16th, x is greater than 1 and a plus b equals to 2, what's the value of a minus b? Let's apply the exponential rules. Since we have the same base, x base and x base, we can merge this. Since it is division, we're going to use the same base and subtraction. So it's going to be a squared minus b squared, the power of the top one minus the power of bottom one. So we merged this on same base, equals to x to the 16. And exponential rule, if the bases are same, then exponents are same. Then I can go ahead and set up a squared minus b squared equals to 16. Now we see that difference of two squares here. You also need to know this formula by heart. If you have a squared minus b squared, it's going to be equal to a minus b times a plus b. So we can factor this out as a minus b times a plus b equals to 16. We were given that a plus b is 2. So we can plug in a plus b is 2. Now we need to solve for a minus b because that's our goal. A minus b times 2 equals to 16. So I divide both sides by 2 to be able to find a minus b is equal to 8. Okay, question number 8. The measure A in degrees of an exterior angle of a regular polygon is related to the number of sides n of the polygon by the formula above. So we were given the formula above, which is n times a, where a is the exterior angle here and n is the number of the sides here, according to given function. If the measure of an exterior angle of a regular polygon is greater than 50, so if a is greater than 50 degree, what is the greatest number of sides it can have? So we are looking to maximize n. So we would like to know what is the maximum number n can be, the condition given that a is greater than 50 degree. So we are going to minimize a to be able to maximize n. So let's pick up the smallest number it can have. So smallest number it can be is 51 degree, because 51 is greater than 50 degree. And if we divide both sides by 51, we can solve for n. So divided by 51, divided by 51, so n will be equal to 360 divided by 51. So the biggest whole number it can be is 7. So n is 7. This is the answer. And I would like to give extra information. So if we have a polygon, let's say this polygon, any interior angle plus any exterior angle, interior angle plus exterior angle is equal to 180 degree. This is just extra information for the different questions. Alright, let's go to next question. Question number 9. The graph of a line in the xy plane has slope 2 and contains the point 1, 8. The graph of a second line passes through the points 1, 2 and 2, 1. If the two lines intersect at the point AB, what's the value of A plus B? Let's try to picture the scenario. We have an xy plane, and in this xy plane we have two lines. Let's roughly sketch it. The first line passes through 1, 9. Let's say this is 1. Let's say this is 8. And the slope is 2. We don't know y-intercept yet. So this is 1, 8. That's the blue line. And let's have some red line. And our second line is passing through 1, 2. Let's say this is 1, 2. And 2, 1, which is this. We don't know the slope yet, but this seems it's going to be negative slope, because there is only that way we can pass through these two points. And these two lines intersect at point A, B. And they would like to know what A plus B will be. So for this, we need to find the intersection and add up the x and y coordinate. So our first line is y equals to mx plus b. We know that slope is 2. And we know that this line passes through 1, 8. So let's plug in that point. 1, 8 is the point on this line. So y coordinate is 8 and x coordinate is 1 plus b. So we're going to solve for b to be able to find the y-intercept. So 8 is equal to 2 plus b, then subtract b on both sides, then b equals to 6. So our first line is now y equals to 2x plus 6. Our second equation, let's find the slope first using the delta y over delta x. So y2 is 1, y1 is 2, and x2 is 2, x1 is 1. So this is going to be negative 1 over 1, so the slope is negative 1. And y-intercept is, let's plug in y equals to mx plus b, solve for b. Let's use one of the points, let's use point 2, 1. So 2 is the y, and m is negative 1, so let's use just negative. Instead of x, we're going to use 1. I think we use this point. And x is 1 plus b. Here, if you solve for b, add 1 on both sides, then b will be 3. Then the equation of the second line will be y equals to negative x plus 3. Now we obtained both equations. Now we are going to intersect these two equations to be able to find that intersection point, this green point here. What makes it? If we make them equal to each other and solve for x, that's going to be our intersection point. Negative x plus 3 equals to 2x plus 6. Once you have found, you can graph it, but this is no calculator part, so it's not the point. We have to do it algebraically. Add x on both sides, so this is going to be 3x on the right, and subtract 6 on both sides, so this is going to be negative 3. Then x will be negative 1. So if x coordinate is negative 1, then y coordinate will be, let's plug in here negative 1. Negative 1 is positive 1. Plus 3 is 4, so y coordinate is 4. So this intersection point is negative 1 comma 4. And if we add them up, negative 1 plus 4 will be positive 3. This is the answer. Question number 10. Which of the following equations has a graph in the xy plane for which y is always greater than or equal to negative 1? Let's try to sketch them roughly. So you need to know the parent functions here, or you need to know vertical and horizontal shift. So for option A, we have an absolute value, and normally absolute value is at the origin like this. This is absolute value of x as our parent function. However, this is 2 units shifted down. So it came here. So we shifted 2 units down, and this is vertical shift. Option B is our quadratic function. Normally at the origin, our quadratic function is x squared is like this, but it is 2 units down, 2 units below, so it is shifted 2 units down, and this is absolute value x minus 2. In the option 3, normally our x squared is like this, but this is 2 units shifted to the right. So we have, this is vertical shift, we have horizontal shift here. So 2 units shifted to the right. So this is x minus 2, the quantity squared. And in the fourth option, we have x cubed minus 3. X cubed is normally something like this, passing through the origin. And it is 2 units shifted down, 1, 2. And it became something like this. This is x cubed minus 2. So this is also vertical shift. So in this, we have negative 2 here, negative 2 here, negative 2 here, and this graph is below negative 1, this graph is below negative 1, this graph is below negative 1, this is above 0. And as you can see here, vertical shift, vertical shift, vertical shift. This affects upness and downness. If you go right or left, it doesn't affect the graph to be greater or less than negative 1 on the y-axis. So you can also guess from here, or you can sketch roughly the parent functions, or you need to see that this is vertical shift and this is horizontal shift. Question number 11. Which of the following complex numbers is equivalent to 3 minus 5i over 8 plus 2i? So this is complex numbers division. The rule is we need to multiply both top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. So let's do that. 3 minus 5i over 8 plus 2i is multiplied by the conjugate of the denominator, which is 8 minus 2i. 8 minus 2i. Since this is equal to 1, I technically don't change the value of the fraction. And there is a shortcut formula for multiplying any complex number by its conjugate is a plus bi, the conjugate is a minus bi, gives you a squared plus b squared. So you don't need to lose time for the denominator. So our denominator will be 8 squared plus 2 squared, which is going to be 64 plus 4 is 68. But we need to find the numerator. The numerator will be, we are going to distribute this, 8 minus 2i. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times negative 2i is negative 6i. Negative 5i times 8 is negative 40i. And negative 5i times negative 2i is positive 10i squared. And we know that I squared is equal to negative 1, also given here in the note. If you square both sides, you get I squared equals to negative 1. And this makes negative 10, because negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. Now we're going to combine the like terms. 24 minus 10 is 14. And negative 6i minus 40i is negative 46i. All over, our new denominator is 68. So this is our answer. However, we don't see this form in the answer choices, so we need to separate this. We are going to separate like 14 over 68 minus 46i over 68, because 68 is the common denominator for both 14 and negative 46i. Now we need to simplify. Divide by 2 is 7, divide by 2 is 34, divide by 2 is 23i, divide by 2 is 34, so we obtain 7 over 34 minus 23i over 34 is our final answer. So it's going to be this. Question number 12. A website uses the formula above to calculate a seller's rating R based on the number of favorable reviews, F and unfavorable reviews, N. Which of the following expresses the number of favorable reviews in terms of the other variables? So we're going to solve for F in terms of everything else. So our first step is to cross multiply. If we cross multiply, we're going to obtain R times N plus F is equal to F. Now we're going to distribute R into parentheses. So we're going to get Rn plus Rf is equal to F. We need to keep F's on the same hand side because we need to isolate F. So Rn is equal to, let's make F minus Rf. We subtract Rf on both sides. Let me show that step as well. Now F's are on the same hand side, so we can factor out F. So from here we have 1, from here we have R. If you distribute, you get the expression above back, and we have Rn here. Since we are solving for F, we need to divide both sides by 1 minus R. So F is equal to R over N divided by 1 minus R, which is Rn over 1 minus R, which is B. Question number 13. What is the sum of all values of m that satisfies 2m squared minus 16m plus 8? Since we need to find the value of m in this quadratic equation, we can either use quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a, or we can complete the square and solve for m. So either method is okay, because this is not the quadratic function that you can easily factor out. So let's use the quadratic function, quadratic formula. anybody prefers completing the square can go ahead and feel free to do that. It's the equal time. So our A term is 2, B term is negative 16, and C term is 8. So negative 16 will be positive 16, plus or minus square root of negative 16 squared is 256, minus 4 times A term times C term, divided by 2 times A term. So 16 plus or minus 256 minus 8 times 8 is 64. 256 minus 64 is 192. Let's see if it is perfect number. No, so we're going to keep it 192. This is square root of 192 all over 4. Now we're going to separate. This is the answer for m value. Now we're going to separate this. So it is going to be 16 over 4 plus or minus square root of 192 over 4. You don't need to take this partially out because they are looking for the sum of the values of m. So we have two m values. One m value is m1 is 16 over 4, which is 4 plus square root of 192 over 4. And the second m value is 4 minus, because in the formula we have plus or minus, 192 over 4. And if we add them up, this positive and negative same value cancels out. So 4 plus 4 is 8. So you don't need to execute 192. So 8 is the answer. Okay, let's go to number 14. And we need a space for the next question here. I'm sure you copied this, so I can clean here up. A radioactive substance decays at an annual rate of 13%. If the initial amount of the substance is 325 grams, which of the following functions f models the remaining amount of the substance in the grams t years later? So this is the initial amount according to exponential function. We have a times b to the t, where a is the initial amount, b is the decay or growth rate, and t is the time. And this rate will be, if it is growth, it's going to be 1 plus growth rate. If it is decay, it's going to be 1 minus the decay rate. So this is how we obtain b value here. Since it is decaying 13%, it's going to be initial value, which is 325, times 1 minus decay rate, which is 13%. You need to express it in the decimal point, which is 0.13 to the t. So 1 minus 0.13 will be 0.87%. This is the answer. Question number 15. The expression 5x minus 2 over x plus 2 is equivalent to which of the following? This is not factorable or divisible easily, so we're going to go from options to the question. Obviously, option A and option B is not the answer because we have x term here, and we don't have any x term here. Obviously, this cannot be the answer. Let's try option C. 5 minus 2 over x plus 3. So we're going to do cross multiply. We're going to multiply this by 5, subtract 2 over the same denominator. So 5 times x plus 3 minus 2 all over x plus 3. Let's see if it gives us the equation. 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 3 is 15, and 15 minus 2 is 13, over x plus 3, it's not the answer because 5x plus 13 over x plus 3 is not the question. No. So the answer is automatically D, but let's try. 5 minus 17 over x plus 3. So we're going to multiply x plus 3 times 5, subtract 17, keep the same denominator. 5 times x plus 3 minus 17 over x plus 3. So 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 3 is 15, and we have negative 17 here over x minus 3. And if you simplify, it's going to be 5x minus 2 over x plus 3. Yes, this is same as the question, so this is the answer. D is the answer. Question number 16. Okay, we finished the multiple choice part. Now we're going to start grid in part. So this is the free response part. Number 16. The sales manager of a company awarded a total of $3,000 in bonuses to the most productive salespeople. The bonuses were awarded in amounts of $250 or $750. If at least one $250 bonus and at least one $750 bonus were awarded, what is one possible number of $250 bonuses awarded? So we have $3,000 to distribute in 250 and 750 bills. We know that at least one 250 and one 750 is awarded already. What is one possible number of $250 bill is given? So we can go like this. We know that at least this is given, so let's subtract this. So we're going to obtain 2,250. Now we are going to find one possible value of 250 bills. So let's divide 2,250 by 250. So if we use 9 of these and 1 of that, that's one possible answer. So we combine 1 of these and 9 of these, so that's one possible answer. You can check the different combinations, like if you use 2 of these, 1 of that, 3 of these, 1 of that, 4 of these, 2 of that, but your total is 3,000, you know that, and your condition is you need to use at least once. So 9 is one possible answer. You're going to go to your grid in, and then you're going to write here 9, which is one possible answer, and bubble in here 9. Question number 17. In the equation above, a, b, and c are constants. If the equation is true for all values of x, what's the value of b? Here we're going to distribute the left hand side and compare the equations on the right and left. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared, and 2x times 5 is 10x. Plus we have 3 times 3x is 9x, and 3 times 5 is 15, equals to equation on the right. Let's combine the like terms here. We have 6x squared plus 19x plus 15 is equal to ax squared bx plus c. Now we're going to match the like terms. So this is the x squared terms, so this is a. And this is b, this is the x term, this is the x term, and this is c. What we are looking for is the b value, which is 19, so 19 is the answer. So you're going to go to your grid in, you're going to write 19, and then you're going to bubble in 1 and 9 clearly. Question number 18. In the figure above, AE is parallel to CD. So these two lines are parallel. And segment AD, which is this in the middle, segment AD intersects segment CE at B. What is the length of segment CE? We know that this orange line and green line are parallel, and like a transversal, a line is cutting these two parallel lines. So we know that this angle here and this angle here are the same angle because of the alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are congruent, and it's like this. If these two lines are parallel, then those are the alternate interior angles. Or you can think like inside of the Z-shaped. Okay, so one angle is same, and we know that this angle is the same as this angle. So if we prove two angles are same between two triangles, then these two triangles are similar. So triangle CDB is similar to triangle B is in the middle, A to D, so triangle AEB. If two triangles are similar, then they are in proportion. So I can make up the ratio. What we are looking for is length of CE, which is this whole length. So I need to know CB. How can I find CB? Let's find the ratio. So it was 5, it became 10. So the ratio is 1 to 2. So this is 8, then this is 4. So 4 to 8, 5 to 10. The ratio is 2 times. Now we can add 4 plus 8 is 12, because that's from C to E all the way. So question number 18 is 12. 1, 2. If you don't bubble correctly, you don't get credit from this part. Question number 19. In the xy plane above, O is the center of the circle, and the measure of AOB is pi over A radians. What's the value of A? We were given the central angle AOB as pi over A. And this angle, and we were given the coordinates, this is the x coordinate, y coordinate, root 3, 1. We know that sine of this angle is equal to y coordinate here, or cosine of this central angle is equal to x coordinate of the point. So you need to know some major points. So sine of what gives me 1? Let's see, this point is, this is the unit circle, 1, 0. This here is 0, 1, bingo, so we have 1 here. So sine of 1 is the same as 90 degree. So 90 degree in radian is pi over 2, because pi is equal to 180 degree measurement, and 180 degree divided by 2 gives us 90. And let's use sine. Sine of pi over 2 is equal to 1, we know from this unit circle. So pi over A, pi over 2, so A has to be 2, because only pi over 2 gives me 1. So I compare this with pi over A. So A is 2. Let's go ahead and bubble in. 19. A is 2 and bubble in. If you know cosine value of square root of 3, you can go ahead from here, but one is very clear here. You need to know like some measure angles, like this coordinate is what? Negative 1 comma 0. This coordinate is 0 comma negative 1. And this is 0 both in degree and radian. This is 90 degree in degree and pi over 2 in radian. This is pi in radian or 180 degree. This is 3 pi over 2 or 270 degree. And again, this is 360 degree. Question number 20. This is the last question of this part. In the system of equations above, a and b are constants. If the system has infinitely many solutions, what's the value of a over b? So let's review 3 situations. If we have only one solution, it means 2 lines are intersecting at some point, like this. If we have no solution, means 2 lines are parallel. They are not intersecting at any point. And if 2 lines are exactly on top of each other, then it means we have infinitely many solutions. So identically, the second line is on top of the other line. So we have infinitely many solutions. So this is the situation we are looking for. Since these 2 equations are identically same, then we can make up a and b. So a is 2 and b is 8. Okay, so we're looking for a over b. A is 2, b is 8, so it's going to be 1/4. Let's go ahead and bubble in. 1/4, 1 division sign 4. So 1 division sign 4. Or you can also write 0.25, or 1/4 is equal to 0.25, and either answer is okay. So we finished part 3. We're going to do part 4 at the next video. Thank you for watching.